Hello everybody and welcome back to another DM's Guild review. We've got 5 more free adventures for your table. And if you guys have the chance to play any of these, leave it down in the comments what you thought. But we're going to be starting off with a good one. Lair of the Necromancer by Sebastian Dietz. An adventure for 7th level characters. Also, I'm not sure if you guys can tell or not, but it's like 80, 90 degrees where I'm at. So if you can hear a fan or see me sweating, that's why. But let's get into it. Beneath a sky as gray as tombstone marble, a group of seasoned adventurers approach a crypt. Skeletal trees stood like silent sentinels, and a chill wind whispered ghostly secrets. A tinge of death hung in the air, hinting at the crypt's grim secrets. This was the crypt of the fabled necromancer, the sinister lair that whispered untold tales of horror. The adventurers bravely forced the crypt's entrance open, and the stale air of decay washed over them like a forgotten curse. They entered, their senses alert to the eerie ambience. No sooner had they stepped into the foreboding crypt than skeletal sentries rose from the graves, hollow eyes blazing with unholy fire. The air turned to frost as the adventurers fought for their lives. Victorious, they discovered a hidden stairway within a sarcophagus, beckoning them into the underworld. They went into the bowels of the earth. They traversed the winding tunnels until they reached a crossroads. A haunting chant echoed from the north, a spectral serenade guiding them towards an unsettling revelation. The quarters of the necromancer's apprentice. In this eerie abode, they uncovered love letters among incomplete scrolls of the animated dead, painting a chilling picture of a love lost in the quest for dark power. The chilling sight of hanged corpses greeting them in the next chamber, each lifeless form bore the vestiges of different races, an ominous warning of the necromancer's indiscriminate reach. A treasure chest sat brooding in the corner, holding the deceased's belongings. A cadaver on an open table greeted them as they marched through an embalming room. An aura of recent activity hung in the room, suggesting a work interrupted. Then came the ritual chamber. The source of the haunting chant. A duel ensued with the necromancer's failed apprentice, now a flame skull, and his undead minions. The room bore the mark of countless profane rites, complete with a bloody dagger, coins, and a key that unlocked the deeper catacomb. Next, they encountered the mummy room, where 2 sarcophagi harbored an ancient curse. The mummies within quickly defended their eternal rest, forcing the adventurers to fight back. The following corridors were haunted by spectral figures and a locked door, hiding unknown mysteries. A poison trap turned one door into a lethal hurdle, but they navigated it with practiced skill. They braved a room filled with warg bones and persuaded the spectral sentries, coaxing out crucial information about the necromancer. Through this ghastly passage, they descended deeper into the necromancer's lair. Deeper still, they stumbled into a chamber guarded by a flesh golem, a macrame sentinel that recognized only the necromancer's voice. It forced the adventurers to master the art of deception before advancing into the chamber filled with shadow-shrouded pillars. Within the dark room, they met a riddle that stood above a locked door. They worked together to solve the enigma, pushing forward into a shrine of Mercule, the god of death. A bone golem guarded a skeleton key, presenting yet another deadly challenge. The journey into the heart of the crypt continued. They trudged through a feasting hall filled with ghouls, a storage room offering useful potions, and a deceptive crystal ball that guarded the necromancer's study. Each room presented a unique challenge demanding wit and courage. They reached the necromancer's personal chambers, defended by a spectral wraith, where they found valuable items, including the necromancer's ritual book and a powerful magic staff. Finally, they arrived at the very core of the lair, where the necromancer, adorned in dark robes and swirling with malevolent energy, awaited. The confrontation was dire. The necromancer summoned a maelstrom of spectral wraiths, but the adventurers held their ground. After a perilous battle, they vanquished the necromancer and his spectral minions, ending the reign of terror. Having braved horrors beyond mortal comprehension, the adventurers left the crypt behind, its oppressive gloom receding into the depths of the hillside. As they exited, the wind whispered of a new era, an era without dreaded necromancers. So what do you guys think about that? I think that's a really nice way to go through a dungeon crawl, especially one that has a big bad at the end of it. I love a necromancer for that, and if you guys have played something similar to that, let me know. But moving right into Lamia's Lure by R.J. Kelly. And that's going to be a 5th level adventure in an era where myths walked the earth and divine beings asserted their will over the public. A tale of bravery unfolded in a forsaken temple. This was no ordinary temple. It was a homage to Thasala, the revered god of the sea. But the once hallowed place of worship had fallen into ruin, its grandeur eroded by time and neglect. Its walls of fine-cut stone were cloaked in grime, a somber testament to their dilapidated state. But the silence of the derelict temple was deceptive, for it housed a fierce creature. The enchanted Lamia Peshalis, a cadre of valiant adventurers, guided by their insatiable thirst for glory and justice, dared to investigate the temple ruins. Through the temple's formidable stone doors, they first encountered the desolate main chamber. Once a magnificent marble statue of Thasala, draped in gold, stood here, but now it lay crumbled, the filigree crown plucked from its grandeur and secreted away in Pershala's subterranean throne room. A gaping hole in the ceiling admitted the harsh scrutiny of the open sky, casting a stern light on the tarnished history of this palace. They discovered a preparation room beyond the main chamber that the temple's monstrous tenants, the manticores, used to transport their gruesome spoils, littered with toppled stone tables and streaks of fresh blood. It was a chilling testament to the monstrous desecration of the sacred temple the sacred temple had endured. The beasts, still wounded from a previous altercation, attacked the adventurers in an adjacent chamber, the Manticore's lair. Strewn across the room were remains of past feasts, bone and tattered rags that added a grotesque flavor to the drama unfolding within the temple's confines. Intense combat ensued, joined shortly by jackal wares, servants of the nefarious Lamia. The adventurers then found the jackal ware den, a room that once held sacred statues, now desecrated and taken over as living quarters for the jackal ware minions of Pershala. Finally, they discovered a makeshift supply room, storing all the necessities for the Lamia's malevolent operations. Deeper into the tunnel, they navigated a perilous back hallway. A devious hidden trap was set here, a pit that would capture unwary intruders and then fill with water. A chilling realization passed over the party. Beyond this treacherous passageway awaited the heart of the temple, Pershala's lair. The adventurers entered a chamber with an upper walkway encircling it. After descending a grand staircase, a stagnant pool of water surrounded a flat central pillar. The decadent living area of the Lamia Pershalis, adorned with stolen riches and illuminated by the feeble light trickling from a crack in the ceiling. This grandiose space served as Pershalis's throne. The Lamia, lounging in her human guise, greeted the adventurers with an alluring charm. Yet her intentions were sinister beneath the veneer of beauty. A battle erupted, a clash of mortal will against monstrous tyranny. The Lamia attempted to beguile her adversaries, employing a magic lyre to amplify her powers of persuasion. Yet, the adventurers resisted, pressing their attack as the battle raged. Pershalis called forth her jackalware servants and her last desperate weapon. 2 giant constrictor snakes lurking in the stagnant waters. In the face of these insurmountable odds, the adventurers triumphed. With Pershalis destroyed, her enchantments were lifted, liberating her charmed servants from her control. The dark heart of the temple was vanquished, its power extinguished. The party placed the hexagonal stone, an artifact they had discovered earlier bearing the symbol of Thasala, into a lair's carved recess, renewing the temple's sacred allegiance to the sea god Thasala. So I kind of like that one, helping out a god that's more or less down and out. Their worshippers abandoned, so they have no one that they can call on. So I really like that. It might even be a good quest for you and your warlock patron or cleric to have. Next up, we got a beginner level adventure, A Rat's Problem, by Richard Gubatois. And I'm really sorry, I know I pronounced that wrong. In the heart of a bustling metropolis, a small group of adventurers, dauntless and wide-eyed, fueled by dreams of glory, set foot for the first time into the world for a grand adventure. Their journey began with a heady mix of excitement and nervousness, sparked by unexpected encounters with a goblin pickpocket and a band of reckless bandits. Once untested, their resolve began to take shape due to adversity. Hungering for further trials, the group sought the Problem Solvers Guild, an esteemed institution offering a steep learning curve and coveted membership. Amid the stone walls and echoing halls of the guild, they accepted their inaugural task, solving an alchemist's particular rat problem. In his maze-like laboratory, they discovered the alchemist, a man whose eccentricity was second only to his intellect. Amidst bubbling beakers and arcane scrolls, the alchemist spoke of a mysterious predator that had slain the giant rats in his cellar. He implored the adventurers to seek out and eradicate the unseen killer. Their mission was to restore the natural order of his subterranean menagerie. The journey led them to the cellar, a damp place wreathed in shadow and mystery. Here, amid the lingering stench of decay, they unearthed a startling revelation. In his cavalier pursuit of knowledge, the alchemist had been recklessly discarding potions down the drain. Drawn to these potent brews, a gray ooze, an abomination of nature, had slithered its way up through the dark arteries of the city sewers system and into the cellar. Here it found a banquet in the form of the alchemist's rats, gorging on them and the disregarded potions alike. The potent brews did more than satisfy its hunger. They introduced a grotesque mutation, enhancing its power and ferocity. This was the perpetrator behind the alchemist's rat problem. With grim resolve etched on their faces, these fledgling adventurers braved the bowels of the city sewer. They stepped into the ooze's haunting territory, intent on ending its reign of terror. The tension was palpable, and the air was heavy with the promise of an impending battle. Here, within this grim theater of survival, the adventurers faced their first real adversary. A mutated ooze, a silent predator, clung unseen to the ceiling or hidden beneath the flimsy wooden bridges, traversing the water channels of the sewer. Its gray form almost blended into its surroundings, making it a perfect ambush predator. Yet the adventurers, resilient and clever, employed strategies to defeat this monstrous ooze. The harrowing experience served as a crucible, testing strengths and honing their skills. That was really fun. This is a beginner level adventure, and it's an adventure meant for new players to D&D. So it even teaches you a bunch of different things like actions, bonus actions, reactions, just the whole action economy. So I really like adventures like these, especially when you can pull it off well. And we're going to be moving right into our next adventure, Pest Extermination by Jonathan King. It's for first to maybe even fourth level characters. In the sleepy hamlet of Glen Carrot, an eerie silence crept in. Once bustling and alive, the village was now caught in the malignant shadow of fear. Thanks to this perilous mine, once a source of prosperity, it has now become a breeding ground for despicable kobolds. At the town's gravest hour, a band of adventurers arrived. Hearing about the menace, they pledged to cleanse the mind. It was a pledge given to Darrell, the village elder, who carried this burden of hope and despair of Glencairn on his shoulders alone. Their journey began in the dreaded mine. The once sturdy cavern now bore the mark of the kobolds, hiding deadly quicksand pit traps beneath its seemingly stable surface. With careful scrutiny, the adventurers spotted these traps, navigating the treacherous terrain with remarkable dexterity, avoiding the sand that threatened to swallow them whole. Pressing on, they entered the grease oil pit, an eerie chamber hosting a slick of oil stretching across the floor. The faint murmurs of kobolds resonated around the corners, their sinister anticipation palpable in the dank air. The moment one of the adventurers slipped into the oil, the echoes turned into cackles as alchemist fire was flung into the pit, igniting it into a blazing inferno. Yet the heroes prevailed, their swift action saving them from a fiery doom. Beyond the fiery spectacle was the engineer's room, a testament to the kobolds' destructive ingenuity. Amidst the clutter of failed contraptions, the room was studded with potent alchemist fire. A battle ensued when the kobolds spotted them. The cavern echoed with the clanging of weapons, the hissing of alchemist fire, and the roar of victory as the kobolds were routed. The remaining ones scampered away. Their journey led them next into the guard room, a fortress within the mine, housing the formidable kobold dragon shields. An epic struggle broke out. Steel clashed against scale, raw strength against savage ferocity. But in the end, the dragon shields fell, their bodies littering the guard room floor. Finally, the adventurers descended into the belly of the mine, the dragon horde and the sorcerer. Their eyes widened at the sight of the dragon horde shimmering under the dull cavern light. On this throne of gold, a kobold with fake wings petted a wormling red dragon. The air crackled with tension as the dragon offered them their lives in exchange for their loot, an acknowledgement of his reign over the mine. The adventurers' response was a battle cry and a refusal to bow to the tyrant's demands. The battle was fierce, and the air was thick with the smell of burning flesh. The screams of the wormling and the incantations of the kobold sorcerers. Yet, despite the adversaries' powers, the heroes emerged triumphant, standing amidst the carnage, their resolve undeterred. The victory was hard won, and as they made their way back, they were greeted as heroes. The cheers of the villagers echoed around Glencairn, and Darrell, the teary-eyed elder, gave them a promised reward. Yet there was an unexpected prize. Among the spoils, a journal emerged, radiating magic, its cover adorned with a mummified hand holding an eyeball. It was indecipherable, its secrets locked away, drawing the interest of Darrell, who asked to investigate. The village celebrated that night, its people relieved, and the burden of fear was lifted as they relished their victory. The adventurers knew that their journey was far from over, but the mysteries of the journal and the promise of further adventure awaited them. For that night, they basked in the joy of a mission accomplished and a village saved. That's another adventure I also really enjoyed reading. And of course, I am a sucker for beginner level adventures. But what do you guys think? Now we're going to be moving on to our next adventure. Thought I'd pick a silly one. That's going to be The Wizard Bonbon and the Castle of Sucre by Cameron White, a third level adventure. And I say it's silly because it takes place in Candyland. Okay, not actually Candyland, but it's Candyland. In a faraway land, nestled among rolling hills and a picturesque meadow, lay the kingdom of Sweet Spire. This realm was known for its delectable treats and delightful confections, which brought joy to the young and old alike. But a dark cloud had descended upon Sweet Spire, for all the Candy Hen sweets had mysteriously vanished, leaving the people desolate and bereft of their sugary delights that once brought them so much happiness. In the kingdom's heart stood a magnificent castle, the residence of the wise and benevolent King Sidmund. It was within the walls of the grand fortress that our adventurers began. The kingdom had fallen into melancholy, and the king, unable to bear the sight of his sorrow-filled subjects any longer, summoned a group of heroes to his royal chamber. The heroes, known for their bravery and noble deeds, arrived at the castle and found themselves in the waiting room. The air was thick with anticipation as they could hear the king bickering with someone outside the chamber. Straining their ears, they caught snippets of the conversation, the king's voice filled with frustration. "But this is what I pay you for. I don't get to be king and not have my sweets. The whole town is so sad, and it's making me depressed. You better have brought me some sweets worth sending to fix this mess. I simply don't have time for this." As the heroes awaited their audience with the king, they introduced themselves and shared their tales of valor, recounting the heroic deeds that had caught the king's attention. Before long, the doors of the great hall swung open, and one of the king's squires summoned the heroes to meet with their sovereign. Stepping into the hall, the heroes beheld King Sigmund, a plump dwarf with a long red ponytail that snaked under his golden crown. His purple robes, though magnificent, appeared a tad too tight for his generous girth. Sitting upon an imposing throne adorned with ruby dragon heads, the king's gaze fixed upon the heroes as they approached. "Hello, brave adventurers. I, King Sigmund, call upon you to remove this terrible curse that has befallen our land," the king declared, his voice filled with a mixture of desperation and hope. "Ever since people's candy started disappearing, everyone has been so sad. It's making me sad too. I just want to see people smile once more." There's about 3 different accents I combined into that king, so if you can find them, let me know. The king revealed that the wizard had discovered a possible way to reach the source of the curse, the fabled castle of Succumb. To aid the heroes in their quest, the king had a large silver plate, forged large enough to transport the entire party to the castle. Their mission was clear: find the wizard responsible for the curse and remove it by any means necessary. The reward promised by the king was great, and failure was not an option. After the audience with the king, the heroes were guided to the High Wizard Flavis, a towering elf with sparkling green emerald eyes that seemed to peer into the depths of their soul. He explained the process of using the silver plate and the amulet to transport the party to the castle of Succumb, a realm existing on the plane separate from their own. With the amulet in their possession, the heroes gathered on the silver plate with the king's trophy room. Flavis and his fellow wizards encircled the group, their voices rising in unison as they recited the ancient chant. "Bon bon, bon bon, come and see, the children as naughty as can be. Take their candy, it's so sweet, over and over I will repeat." A blinding flash of light engulfed the heroes, and when their vision returned, they found themselves transported to the enchanted garden of the castle of Succumb. But what they beheld was not the vibrant wonderland of the childhood dreams. It was a stark contrast to the legends passed down through the generations. They encountered piles of melted and rotten candy. Undeterred, the heroes pressed forward, their objective clear: find the wizard Bonbon and unravel the mystery of the curse. Their path led them to a small, multicolored bridge that connected to the castle to the Nougat Forest. But they also caught sight of another route, the coast, which presented an opportunity to swim across a bright blue syrupy sea. The heroes debated their opinion and eventually made their choice. Those who decided to brave the syrup waters faced a challenging ordeal. The viscous syrup proved treacherous, and the heroes had to navigate the sticky currents precisely. Failure meant the suffocation of drowning, but with resourcefulness and teamwork, they managed to reach the other side, albeit with their bodies coated in a sweet goo. As they ventured further, the heroes encountered various monsters, traps, and dangers that guarded the path to the castle. Dire wolves, owl bears, and even a beholder tested their mettle, but with skill and valor, they overcame each obstacle. Finally, the heroes arrived at the castle, ready to confront the wizard Bonbon and lift the curse that had befallen Sweet Spire. To their surprise, instead of an elderly wizard, they found a young woman named Penelope, the daughter of Wizard Bonbon, with long blue hair and her eyes shifted between shades of pink and blue. Penelope revealed the truth behind the curse. Her father Bonbon had passed away long ago, leaving her to reside alone in the castle. She possessed the amulet but could not fathom its true purpose. Penelope confessed that her brother, Peter, had inadvertently unleashed the curse when he attempted to use their family's staff, but lacked the necessary mastery. Penelope had locked away a monstrous entity in the potion room, and it had consumed Peter, her brother. The heroes listened intently, their hearts filled with empathy for Penelope's plight. They vowed to save her brother and bring an end to the curse. With a fierce determination in their eyes, they ventured into the potion room, battling a marshmallow beast and its summoned creatures. The heroes fought valiantly, their weapons clashing against the sticky foe. With each blow, the beast weakened until it finally succumbed to its might. As the marshmallow mass melted away, the unconscious form of Peter Bonbon was revealed, clutching his father's staff. The heroes revived Peter, and he shared his story of unintentionally causing the curse, while trying to follow in his father's footsteps. Grateful for their assistance, Peter willingly handed over the staff, placing his trust in the heroes to rid the land of its affliction. Now armed with the staff and amulet, the heroes embarked on their journey back to their plane of existence. They returned on the silver plate where High Wizard Flavis awaited their arrival. With a sense of accomplishment, they chanted the final incantation to return home. In a burst of light, the heroes found themselves back in the throne room of King Sigmund. The king's mood turned to sheer joy as he applauded their return. The townsfolk, their faces aglow with radiant smiles, joined in their celebration, their applause echoing throughout the grand hall. King Sigmund, overjoyed by their success, rewarded the heroes with a chest brimming with gold. The air was filled with jubilation, and the heroes basked in the triumph of their quest, knowing that they had restored happiness to the kingdom of Sweet Spire. So, what did you guys think about your time in Candyland? If you like that adventure, make sure to give it a like down below, or even visit them down at the DM's Guild. But until next time, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!